Role of ethanol and isopropanol in DNA extraction. There are several variables which should be counted while purification of the DNA. Those variables, they are purity of the DNA, molecular weight of the DNA, concentration of the DNA, and speed at which DNA have to be purified. So all these factors, they play a role for purification and for good quality extraction of the DNA. So along with these variations, there is also major role of the alcohols for precipitation of the DNA, alcohol that can be ethanol or isopropanol. Ethanol. In case of ethanol, DNA concentration as low as 20 nanogram per ml can be precipitated with the help of ethanol. Typically, 2 volume of ethanol is added to the 1 volume of precipitate of the DNA. So double volume is added at the volume of the solution in which DNA is present. So ethanol is double amount, in a double amount ethanol is added to that solution. Difference between ethanol and isopropanol precipitation. If we do the comparison between both ethanol and isopropanol, DNA is less soluble in case of isopropanol. So DNA will easily will be precipitated out of the solution if we use isopropanol. But on the other hand, in case of ethanol, DNA needs to be at higher concentration to precipitate, but the salt tend to stay in the soluble even at cold temperatures. So in case of ethanol, that is needs to be at higher concentration, mean the concentration of as compared to the volume from which we have to precipitate the DNA. So if let's say the volume of the DNA of the solution from which we have to precipitate is 2 ml, so there should be 4 ml of the ethanol. As well as there is a tendency of the salts to stay soluble when we use ethanol. In case of isopropanol is useful for precipitation where you have large amount of the samples. If samples they are in large amount, we are purifying the DNA from large amount of blood samples, then it is preferred to use isopropanols. Centrifugation also have a critical role in precipitating the DNA. It depends on the speed of the centrifuge, that at certain steps you need higher speed of the centrifuge, at certain steps you need lower speed of the centrifuge. So centrifugation also have a critical role in pelleting out the DNA. Washing the samples with 70% ethanol. Once DNA has been purified, then solutes they may trap with the isopropanol or with the ethanol that have been used for the precipitation of the DNA. So at the last, DNA is washed with 70% of the ethanol. If there are minor solutes or the salts which remained with the DNA, they may be dissolved in the 70% ethanol. In case of isopropanol, it is recommended that 1 volume of the isopropanol is needed for 1 volume of the solution in which DNA is present. So in case of isopropanol, we need less amount of the isopropanol to precipitate the DNA. Precipitation with the help of isopropanol had the advantage that liquid of the volume of the liquid to be centrifuged is smaller. Isopropanol is less volatile as compared to ethanol. If isopropanol is used, the last traces of the solutes were difficult to remove.